I'm Shrishti Sharma, and with me is Kanishka Sarkar. And viewers, this is the show where we get you prepped up for the trading action today. Not just tell you which are the big global stories that we are tracking at this hour, but in the domestic market, which are the stocks to watch out for. We discuss all of that in detail. So let's get started. But first up, Kanishka, how are the US markets? Things don't look that great.
Absolutely. Another day of very heavy selling coming in for the Wall Street. The US stocks, they have extended their slide overnight. This is investors did pull back from technology names and broader risk assets as well. First up, the Dow Jones Industrial Average. That dropped nearly 500 points or 1.07%. The S&P 500, that slipped about 0.8%, which marks its fourth straight day of decline. And in fact, the index's longest losing streak since August. On the other side, tech-heavy Nasdaq Composite, that fell 1.2% at the session lows. In fact, all three major indexes were down more than 1.5%. Pressure once again centered on mega-cap tech stocks. Nvidia slid nearly 3%, while Amazon tumbled more than 4%, and Microsoft, that lost almost 3% in trade yesterday. Nvidia, which is down more than 10% this month, is going to report its closely watched third quarter earnings later today. So that's something that we'll be watching out for. Now, market strategists are even warning that the S&P 500 could still see another 8 to 9% pullback, though upbeat earnings from Nvidia and a softer but stable economic data that could help restore some confidence. The bigger question, of course, for investors remains when the massive AI-related capital spending that will begin to meaningfully translate into revenues. Outside of tech, Home Depot shares slipped after the retailer missed earnings expectations and cut its full-year guidance. Now, in terms of what to watch out for, Nvidia earnings, of course, later today is something that we'll be closely watching out for. Other than that, labor market data later this week, which could shape expectations for Federal Reserve policy. And lastly, a follow-through in consumer and retail names, especially after Home Depot's cautious guidance. So yes, tech-heavy selling is what we have seen on Wall Street overnight, but a lot of earnings is what we'll be eyeing out for and see how the market reacts to that. But Srishti, how are things on the crude front?
Quite interesting, Kanishka, because just yesterday we have seen a bit of a movement getting back on the crude as crude falls on the rising US stockpiles. Brent is now hovering around that $64 per barrel mark, wherein the US crude inventories rose for the third straight time. While when it comes to the gold oil prices, just in the last couple of days, we have that massive selling coming in on the precious metal. But yesterday and overnight as well, we have seen a bit of a rebound as gold was seen to be halting the three-day losing streak and is now hovering around that $4,065 per ounce mark. While in terms of the other metals, the platinum that remains subdued and trading below that $1,545 per ounce mark. So that's about the check when it comes to the crude and gold front.
All right, so that's a commodity check.